What's up, folks? Melvin here, back again with another video. Just always killing it, always killing it. So today I finished a video for my main channel, Mystery Gomez, quick thoughts on Super Mario Sunshine, because that's what they were. They were quick thoughts on Super Mario Sunshine. I was in Miami, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is really making me think of Super Mario Sunshine. So let me write up a quick paper on Super Mario Sunshine. That's what I did. And I liked it a lot, and I wanted to record it. So I did record it, and yeah, so it's one of my first gaming videos on that channel, actually. I don't talk about a lot of video games on that channel, which is weird, because I have a lot to talk about video games. I can talk about almost any video game, you know? Almost any video game I can talk about and enjoy talking about. You know, it's kind of funny how not many people like talking about the things they enjoy. It's a little weird, it's a little strange. It's just, I don't know, because I don't see that many people talking like that. But I guess that's just me. I just like the things I enjoy so much that I like talking about it. But, you know, whenever I have a friend that finishes a show, I always say, oh, what'd you think of it? And they're like, you know. So they enjoy the watching part more than the talking about part. But I enjoy talking about it. So, yeah, I talked about Super Mario Sunshine, and that game has a long history with me. Has a very, very long history. Let's go back. Let's go back when a movie gallery was a thing. So we did have a movie gallery. So for those of you who don't know what a movie gallery is, that is essentially just a Blockbuster. That's a Blockbuster for I guess poorer people or smaller towns. Blockbuster was always in those bigger towns. It was always in a town with a lot of people, and we never went to Blockbuster, because why would you drive so far for a movie when there's so many movie galleries? We had two movie rental places. There was one that only sold movies, like rented movies, and then there was the other one that had movies and games. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was a sad day when that movie gallery actually left, but we bought a lot of movies at a good price that day. Maybe I should find those movies, because some of them are just very outdated and they deserve like a bad movie to talk about or something like that. But yeah, gosh, what was I going on with this? So Mario Sunshine, yeah, I got it at a movie gallery. I never bought the game until recently, and I rented it for the longest time. I believe I rented it twice, that game. But yeah, ever since that game first booted up, it tried its hardest to grab my attention. Like, Mario Sunshine was trying to grab your attention more than any other Mario game I can think of. Like, it was really trying to like get you motivated in the game to be immersed in it. And every 3D Mario game I can think of since has been trying to do that, has been trying to give you an element of immersion. So, you know, Mario Sunshine did that with the intro cutscene. You want to go on vacation, then going to jail, and then, so that's the motivation for that. Mario Galaxy 1, the princess has escaped, they're gone, she's been kidnapped by Bowser, that beginning cutscene, so that gets you motivated. And then Mario Galaxy 2 does the exact same thing, so it always starts off, you're happy at first, and then something bad happens, and then, a friend helps you, and then you're on your way. There's always friends, so that's kind of been a pattern that's been going on. And then 3D Land has done the same thing with pictures. I'm trying to think. So the new Super Mario Bros. Did that too, with Peach and Mario walking, and then the castle being attacked. So like every single Mario game you can think of has been trying to do that in some sort of way, trying to give some sort of story. But it's always been the same. They're always trying to grab your attention in different ways, but it's the same thing. And even Mario 64 started off in Mario 64 as well. So it's interesting, because we don't think about that when we're kids. When we think about kids, we don't think about story at all. And I actually might even do a video on this, because I actually think it's good. Just like the story, the little stories that there are in Mario. That's all there needs to be, and that's all there is. So yeah, But Mario Sunshine, I don't blame Mario Sunshine too much, because it was trying to be in the 3D realm, so they kind of felt like they needed to, talk about, or not talk about, just sort of be, I guess, bigger some way. Like Mario going to jail, like, I guess they felt like they needed that for like a GameCube game. I don't know what it was. I guess I really don't know. Were they trying to go after the mature audience? Like, but it's one of the worst ideas Nintendo has ever come up with. It's a harmless idea, but like, it's bad. It's just really, really bad. Because going to jail does not motivate you at all. Being framed for a crime does not motivate you to work. It makes you angry at the system, especially when you're a 5-year-old. Let me tell you something. Every single 5-year-old that's ever been punished, they don't look at it as like, wow, I really learned something. I'm so glad I was punished. No, we say that when we're older and we say, wow, I was a piece of shit son and I'm so glad that I got punished when I did as a kid. We say that when we're older. We don't say that when we're younger, when we're 5 years old. And when we play video games, we have like a shorter, a younger age when we play games. We don't play games like we're mature. No one plays games like they're adults, okay? No one does that. They play games like they're kids, especially Mario games. So when you're like a 20-year-old playing Mario and you get arrested, you're going to be like, are you serious? Why am I getting arrested? This is insane. So yeah, like it's just a bad idea. It's just a bad way to motivate you. It's a weak storyline, all those things, all of the above. So yeah, Mario goes to jail. I mean, points for trying. I'm always a purveyor of trying to come up with new ideas, trying to try something different. I'm always a purveyor of that, but I just didn't think it worked. So I mean, I always remember that intro because I was a kid, so I couldn't get very far in many games. And sometimes we didn't have memory cards. I don't think we had a memory card for the GameCube for the longest time. We had a GameCube without a memory card, and that was crazy at the time. So a lot of times, you had to, when you turn off the game, you have to reset it and try again. And that's what we did a lot of the times. But we still had fun. And yeah, and Mario Sunshine, that game, I wouldn't say it's harder. It's just more cryptic. It's more cryptic of how to do things, and that's fine. That is fine. I love the puzzle elements of Mario Sunshine itself. It's it just has a very nice way of doing things in terms of letting you figure out how the world works, especially with your FLUDD, And that's the thing too, with the puzzle elements involved, all you have is the FLUDD. You have nothing else, so that's all you can really figure out. And figuring out how to defeat bosses too, all you have is you and your FLUDD. So think of all the things Mario's capable of doing, and think of all the things the FLUDD is capable of doing, and just try it out and see what happens. And I love that. I really, really love that. It's amazing. They only have arrows from time to time. They only have arrows like, stomp here and do that, but that's very, very minimal. So I'm glad. I'm glad that it was kept very minimal. Later games I feel like are a bit more front forward in terms of how to defeat certain bosses, and they just do the same type of patterns that we've seen in other Mario games. So Mario Sunshine is definitely unique in that way in terms of how levels were completed. It did it in ways that other Mario games haven't done since. Even games like Mario Galaxy, they kind of have to fit the formula that was created already. Mario Sunshine had the advantage of kind of being its own formula. Even with something like Yoshi, the way Yoshi was used he was used in no other game since. So that's pretty. That's great for a franchise that's been lasting this long to try new things. So we should appreciate that when we see this. So that's the thing I appreciate about Mario Sunshine the most. What were the criticisms I gave in my reviews? I said I liked water, and I made a mistake. I said aesthetics, but I shouldn't have used aesthetics. I said that that they didn't use enough water as an aesthetic. But no, there was a lot of water as aesthetic. I meant in terms of level design, but I did say that in the video. So I said there was not a lot of levels that utilize water very much, except when in the use of FLUDD, because FLUDD is your second jump, and FLUDD is used to activate certain passages. So yeah, water was used a lot in terms of FLUDD, but not in terms of swimming. Swimming is actually very clumsy in Mario Sunshine. The swimming itself is just not good, and I think everyone can agree with me there. It doesn't mean one of my favorite levels is actually a water level. In Mario Sunshine, one of my favorite Mario Sunshine levels it's when you damn, I moved the camera. My bad. One of my favorite levels is the eel level, when you have to. It's just washing a tooth, like a couple of teeth of the eel. And that's just so creative. That is so Nintendo to be creative that way. And I love that. The boss himself isn't really that menacing because you always can avoid him. The level is so huge for no reason. so you can just go everywhere. You're never gonna run out of air. You're always gonna have coins, you know. So it's just a fun level. It was just a super fun level, and I really enjoyed that. But every other water level, or every level that involves you to swim, it's just not that good. It's bare bones. They could have gone a lot farther with it, and they just didn't. You know, some of the great examples is like the squid racing levels. Those are amazing, you know, in terms of how they're used. And each squid, it did feel different after I became an adult and noticed it. I was like, yeah, you know, some of it is different. You know, one's you know, faster than the other. You know, things like that. And I thought that was cool. You know, so you had different choices of how to essentially beat the level, and that was so cool. But like, the first squid level is like 30 seconds. That's all. It's very, very short. And I think for a Mario Sunshine game, it should have been a little bit longer. It should have been a little bit more creative. You know, Mario 64, they had those slides, and those were short, but that's Nintendo 64. That's 1997. We're in 2001 now. We need a little bit longer levels. And Mario Galaxy 2 does fix that a little bit. They have longer levels with those, like with the Rolling Rock you know, mushroom. Those levels were a lot longer, and they felt more satisfying, and they were actually more challenging. So those levels felt really, really good because I was more invested in the levels. In the squid ones, they're just unforgettable. They're just, no, they're not unforgettable. They're forgettable. They're I don't know. It's just not very good. Through my eyes, I just don't see them as that good. So, you know, they should have used water a little bit more. You know, more swimming things. Make swimming more interesting. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 made swimming extremely interesting. My gosh, Mario Galaxy especially. They just, oh my gosh, the way they used water. It's just amazing. Like, my gosh, they made water more fun than some of the regular levels. And the music was amazing. And you can use turtle shells to swim faster and to race sharks and to be on a stingray. Like, oh my gosh, Mario Galaxy. Oh my gosh, amazing. Super Mario Sunshine has some of the most annoying water levels you can imagine. The lily pad level, Jesus Christ. It's insane. Like, what happened? Nintendo, come on. Like, I know you were trying to be difficult, but oh my gosh, like, don't be so difficult with, like, if the lily pad didn't, like, you know, wilt, I think the level would not have been that bad. But it wilts too. Even if the water was poison, I would be fine with that. I would be fine if it was just poison. But no, it wilts and it kills you instantly. Like, oh my gosh. Why didn't they make it like the dirty water from, I can't imagine which level, but there's like one level where it's like the water is just like super dirty. You have to get to the secret level in that stage. You know, why didn't they make it like that? That way the water could have hurt you, but you could still get back up on the lily pad and, you know, be on your way. So they didn't do that for whatever reason. And yeah, that level is horrible. It's one of the worst levels. One of the worst Mario. Just one of the worst levels in general. It's a bad level. It's a really bad level. Gosh, what else did I talk about in Mario Sunshine? You know, it makes it really. I love the way they used water. Even though I said they don't have enough swimming levels, I think that the way they used water is fantastic. You know, using water to defeat enemies. That's a pretty clever design. You know, I think it is. Like, you could make a firefighter game. You know, I think firefighter games could be a lot fun. You know, it could be very interesting. And you know, Mario Sunshine just did I don't know, it everything felt correct in terms of the controls. Everything felt right. Everything felt good with Mario Sunshine. And I don't know what about it, you know, but it's just the developers and Nintendo. They just know how to make things feel right, feel special. And Mario Sunshine felt like a very special game. Gosh, I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the reason? What made it feel so special? Was it just that they really needed something? They really needed a killer app? You know, Nintendo 64, you know, put Nintendo at number 2 instead of number 1 like they were supposed to. So they were like, okay, Mario Sunshine, we're going to throw everything at them. You know, throw every idea we have. Let's make that a game. Were they doing that? I don't know. Like, it's definitely a fantastic game. I recommend it. Like, there are some problems with it. I did give criticism, but you know, the main reason why I give criticisms most of the time is just because it's more, to me, I like criticizing. I like criticizing things because once those criticisms are gone, that's what makes things better. You know, to me, that's what makes things better is when after those criticisms are gone. Because then what do you have after that? A perfect game. And every time I talk about something in a critical way, I don't hate it. I never hate it. There are some games I played and I see so many things wrong with it, and I don't hate it afterwards because it's nostalgic. There's movies I watched as a kid. I'm just super nostalgic for them. I find everything wrong with them, but I still enjoy them. Even though there's a lot of things wrong with it, I enjoy it. So criticizing things, depending on how many criticisms I have, it doesn't determine whether I like the game or not. Or whether I like something or not. I could give a million criticisms. I could still love the game. And that's how I feel like with Mario Sunshine. I give a lot of criticisms to it, but I still enjoy it. I still have a really, really fun time. So, that's what happened with me. There's a lot of little things, but I enjoy it overall. I enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun game. I think everyone who's a Mario fan should play it, appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it, You might not like it. You might not like the controls. Some levels are stupid and dumb, but you might like it. And then I talked about the level design a little bit, and I did say the level design is like they could have tried harder, and I think so too. They were kind of copying Mario 64 a little bit with the same types of patterns in terms of stars and in terms of coins. You played it a little bit too safe, Mario Sunshine, for that. Did we really need 100 coins for each stage? Each different stage had 100 coins? No, we didn't need that. That was in Mario 64. Why do we need it in Mario Sunshine? So that part didn't make sense with me either. Mario 64 did a better job with 100 coins because it was less random, and it was less linear. It was open, Mario Sunshine was a little bit more linear. Depending on what level you picked, the whole stage would be different, So that's a problem. That was a problem in one of the games. But yeah, I don't know what else I could talk about it. I mean, I could go on and on. I could go for hours and hours talking about Mario Sunshine, but I know that would be boring. I know that would be very, very boring to do. But yeah, I love talking about games. I love talking about Mario Sunshine. Mario Sunshine is one of my favorite games. And don't be surprised if in the future I talk about Mario Sunshine again, because those were only quick notes. So maybe I'll do some more quick notes on Mario Sunshine, because there's definitely a lot to talk about. I barely talked about Yoshi, and I barely talked about the floods. So I could always talk about those again. I could talk about games more than once, people. Okay. So with that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time.